So it's been a little bit. I do this all the time. I don't know why that is. So I've got a few things I want to show you guys. I've been working in the shop, just haven't been making content. Now why, I don't know, because it doesn't really make any sense. I mean, that's what I'm here to do, is to make content. So why I don't film it, I don't know. I guess sometimes I feel like I can get more done and I need to catch up. Like I need to get stuff done. So a couple things on the agenda. Obviously the Bibster is on the agenda. The Goose, we gotta make more boost. That's kind of what this video is gonna be about. Some shop updates. So we've got some things done. Well, let me just show you. So still have not finished the table. It's gonna come soon though. What I wanna show you is this. So worked on a little bit of artwork. This is one of the logos off one of the shirts that Fab has. Just kind of wanted it to look, I wanted it to look not like a sticker, I wanted it to look like somebody painted it. So that's kind of the idea. I just kind of dabbed the paint on where I wanted it, and still needs a little bit of work, but yeah, one more thing in the shop. So I guess that's update number one. The other thing was I wanted to work on cleaning and organizing. This place was a disaster. It's actually still a disaster, but I went and bought some shelving for now. Basically just to put all that stuff that was in the floor up out of the floor. The plans, hopefully, I want to make, I think, some big doors to go on this thing. So I'll probably make some big doors with maybe some mesh on it. I kind of want it to look rustic, but I'm going to use these shelves as a base to get that done. And a lot of the stuff still has to be gone through and tossed. Ultimately, I think project parts will go over here. You can kind of see all this stuff here is for the Bibster, main girdle, there's the camshaft, tail lights, some couplers for the cooling system, valve covers are in there. I'm not really sure what's, oh, that's the fuel pump, injector, starter, I mean, you know, just fans. So, you know, like from here over is like Bibster parts. Started collecting parts for the C10 Caliente Holly Sniper. Stay tuned for that. Gonna bring that to you on a Rad Race parts. I think these things are highly underestimated. I don't believe that most people understand how valuable a setup like this can be, especially on a budget build. So that's coming. Anyway, you get the point. Added some more lights. So these lights weren't in there. What else? You guys may also be happy to know that hats coming soon. I've got a big batch of them over there on the desk. Got a few more coming. Gonna have smalls, small mediums, large, extra larges, and the extra large fitted hats. I know what those are kind of rare. Gonna have all those probably dropping not this weekend, but the next weekend. I'll make sure that everybody knows, but anybody that wants a hat, I know there's a bunch of you guys waiting. They're coming. I just wanted to make sure I had enough for everybody, so I'm still waiting on a couple more. And then this bad boy, if you're a longtime subscriber, you probably remember this. This is my X-Carve. It's basically just a CNC router. Well, it's kind of been tossed around. Well, it sat unused in the old shop for a long time. Just stuff piled up on it. And then at some point I was gonna use it, and for whatever reason I couldn't get it to work. I thought the power supply was bad in it, but come to find out it was just a driver issue. So I've got it up and working, been using it, been kind of dialing it in, and I hope to maybe come up with some new stuff for you guys. One of those being some layout templates, layout guides. So obviously these are still in the works, but they're basically just layout rings. So it's just like this one has a 1 inch inside radius, a 2 inch outside radius. So if you're gonna say you're laying up some sheet metal for bead rolling, kind of like I was doing on the Bibster seats, you could use these to get those arcs that you want. And so basically 3 of them will get you all the way up to 6-inch radius. So you got 1 and 2 here, 3 and 4 there, 5 and 6. And then kind of played around with these. So these are larger radius pieces. So this is a 24-inch radius, 36, 48, and 60. The only thing I got to figure out is the radiuses in between. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, I'm still kind of trying to work through these. I want to make them very useful, but try to make them in the least amount of pieces that I can. So I don't know, I'll kind of keep you guys updated on these bad boys. What else? Bibster. So as you can see, I hung a door, very temporary. I mean, it's not really on there, but I still got to get, for whatever reason, I've lost the striker bolts for this thing. I guess in the move, or maybe I threw them out. I don't know what happened to them, but so I ordered some new ones. And then once I get those, I can kind of get it all ironed out. I want to make these doors removable, so I'm going to modify the Fox body hinges, probably cut off this top piece, weld some kind of lug in there, and then the door will just sit down on it and then you can shut it. Main reason for wanting these things removable is I'd love to be able to remove them, you know, take it to a show or wherever, and then you just swing it out and pop it off, and then people can see inside it much easier, or at least pop off one side. So there's the door. Not sure what I'm going to do about the hinges. Definitely going to fill the locks on this thing. And may actually shave the door handles and just use poppers. I don't know. It's a lot of smoothness. It actually changes the look of the Bibster. It actually changes the look of the Bibster in a way that I'm not too fond of. So I'm gonna have to come up with something to kind of give it a little more character instead of just being one long panel. Although I will say it's kind of growing on me a little bit, which is probably a good thing. I'm so used to those things, this thing with no doors on it, that I probably need to put some doors on it. And then the only other thing I got to figure out is this front section. So I think to kind of stay true to the old hot rods, I'll probably bring this in a little bit so the sheet metal will kind of come out and meet up with this door piece. So got to figure that out. I don't think that'll be too terribly difficult though. But yeah, getting close. I had to strip this thing. That took me like a whole day just to strip that door. It was a pain in the ass. The other thing that sucks too is after stripping it, you know, when that thing becomes shiny, you can see dents and stuff in it that you didn't know were there. Back to the Goose. So I've been working on the Goose. Matter of fact, I got all the interior tore out of it, making some upgrades on it. So from the dyno day that I did, which is probably the last regular video I did besides like a tool video or a rad race parts video, couldn't get it to make no boost. I was at the dyno, didn't really have enough time to play with it. I kind of got accomplished what I wanted to get accomplished there, and so I didn't really fool with it too much. Oh yeah, I tore the white car apart too, so been tearing into that thing. So got everything done really that I wanted to get at the dyno done on this thing. I mean, I would have liked to make a higher boost pull, but it wasn't a huge deal. I figured I'd just get back to the house and kind of figure it out. Once I got back, what I figured out was that the Innovate boost controller wideband O2 sensor deal that I was using had a setting in there where you can't, it basically activates when the boost controller starts to ramp up boost. You have to make a certain amount of boost before it will start doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I had it set at like 4 pounds, I think, 3 or 4 pounds. And the car was only making 2.5, so it never made it high enough to activate the boost controller for it to start ramping in boost. And that was the issue that we were having. But what I thought about when I got back was, you know, the Innovate setup is great as far as the way it works, but there's no way to ramp that boost in, it just puts it there, whatever you set it at. If you have it set at 50%, as soon as it gets to the threshold where it starts, it goes instantly to 50% duty cycle on the boost controller solenoid, or 75%, or whatever you have it set at. I was like, man, for track days and stuff, that is not the best scenario. You want to kind of ramp that thing in over time. So I got to look in. The Big Stuff 3 will do that. And then the other thing is too, is that it's all in one software. I'm not dealing with the second piece of hardware or software. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to switch it over. It's going to take a little bit of work, but I'm going to do that when I get back. So that's kind of what I've started. You can see I've got the cowl section off, changed the solenoid, the boost solenoid for that thing. That way I can sell the other kit that I've got. And then the whole interior has been tore apart. All the dash and center console and all that stuff has been taken out. So I just got to tie in some wires to the ECU, and basically this plug here is what runs the boost controller, and so I'll just do that, and then I'll be able to tune it all through the software that I tune the car with. And then I think what I'm gonna do, because well, this thing's set up two different ways, so I can do boost in stages. So it'll do like a 3-stage boost setup. You could have them time-based, or I think they're mostly time-based. Maybe, I think it's just time. So you can have them time-based, maybe gear-based, I don't know. But you can do time-based stages, or you can just do percentage. You can just change the percentage of boost over time, which is the way I'm going to do it. What was I going to say? Oh. So the plans are, before I was using, I was just referencing boost off of the intake, and I was putting that back on top of the wastegates. And so you're kind of limited on how much boost you can make doing that. They say rule of thumb is double it. Sometimes you can get more than that. So with a three pound gate, I was only going to be able to get 6 to 10 pounds probably. So I think what I'm going to do is switch over to a CO2 based system, put a CO2 tank in here, a regulator, and then that regulator set at like 40 psi, and then you can basically ramp in whatever percentage of that 40 psi you want. 25% being 10 pounds of dome pressure, they call it, on top of the wastegate, all the way up to 40 psi of dome pressure on top of the wastegate. And that much pressure I should be able to make a good amount of boost. So that's the plan there. If you know anybody that wants a good SCG1 Innovate Motorsports wideband and boost controller built into one. So it's an AFR gauge with a wideband oxygen sensor. The good thing is it'll cut boost on AFR, so if it goes lean, it'll cut boost for you. It'll also cut boost. It'll have a boost cut if it makes too much boost. So has some safety factors built into it. It's a great little setup, really. So there's the boost solenoid itself. All the harnesses, wires. The only thing that's not in this box is the wideband oxygen sensor, which I still have to take off the car. It even has its own little map sensor. It's got its own little map sensor set up. So anyway, it's a really good setup. Anybody that thinks they might want it, just let me know. You can email me at thefabforms@gmail.com. I think the kit is like $400 new. I'll sell it for like half price if somebody wants it. One of the other things I'm gonna do on the Big Stuff is it has a data logging setup in it that I'd never put on there. So I've got actual harness. It'll do an accelerometer. It'll do fuel pressure. It'll log fuel pressure. It'll log turbo back pressure. It also has a drive shaft sensor, fuel pressure. I mean, it has all the goodies. So that's probably going to go in the car as well. So I can log all that stuff too. This thing's a mess. It's got some rust issues up here, both sides. Got the motor out though. still on the fence what I'm gonna do with this thing. Thought about making a dedicated race car. Well, I've talked about it in the past, and I've kind of changed my mind a little bit here and there. I thought about just making an all-around car, like a shop car, do some drifting, burnouts, a little bit of drag racing. I've thought about making a dedicated drag car, something that I could use more often at the track. And not, I mean, this car has some sentimental value to me, so you know, I really don't want to beat on that thing. Whereas if I had something like this, it wouldn't matter. And I could cut the crap out of it. I think if I did this one as a drag car, I'd literally just chop the front end, do a full tube front. May even chop the towers pretty much out of it and just put the tube that ties into the cages to hold the strut towers. Obviously the inside's been gutted already. I would have to replace the floors in it though. I mean, you can see right to the bottom. Both sides. Even the driver's side is ridiculous. So I don't know. I'd do Lexan windows. I mean, I'd do the whole nine. I'd love to go do some like hard tire racing with it. I'd do a simple setup too. I wouldn't even get carried away as far as the setup goes. Probably like a glide. Do like a good 351 base, or maybe even like a LS swap. And believe it or not, I would go fuel injected, but I would use the Sniper EFI. I mean, that's a killer setup for the money. Stay tuned for that video. I'll give you all the lowdown on it. What do you think I should do with this thing? Then of course I got the Fab Cab still. Really trying to figure out what I want to do with this. I've really thought about selling it. I actually had it listed for a little while. It doesn't get used. I mean, I love the truck. It just doesn't get used like it used to. I mean, now that I got that thing, it really gets neglected. And I'd really like to have my floor space. So, I don't know. I may put it back up for sale. Anyway, guess it's more of a update video than anything else. But I want to try to get back on regular schedule of me filming. I think part of me, the dilemma for me was that I was trying to produce like this show style content versus you guys just hanging out with me in the shop. And I need to kind of get back to that. Even if I can't spend all the time I need to on the quality of content that I used to want to try to create, that's fine. I just need to be filming and kind of, yeah, just get back to that kind of routine. That's really what I used to do. That's kind of how I started off, was just bringing y'all into the garage. It didn't really matter what kind of content I was making. You guys were just along for the ride. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. Get you guys back in here with me. Trying to be so fancy, I guess. I don't know. Just got so much to do, not enough time to do it. I need some help. I need to hire somebody. Anyway, as always, thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys some more this week. Go do work, son.